Hi students, welcome to NIRS Education. So as we are discussing the lesson natural resources, so soil is also the one of the most important natural resource. So we are discussing in detail about the soil and its quality, its texture, what is soil erosion, its causes and effects. Already we have seen these points in the previous sessions. Now let's move towards the next concept, that is prevention of the soil erosion. So we have to prevent the soil erosion because the soil is the one of the most important natural resource. By that, most of the organisms which are living on this earth, they are getting maximum everything from the soil. Directly or indirectly, plants are also growing. Soil is the main source of growing the plants. Animals also getting the food from the plants, that is by the soil indirectly. And on the land we are living, so nutrients and minerals and everything whatever necessary for the survival of the organisms, we are getting by the soil. So its prevention from the erosion is very important and very necessary. So let's see what are the points that explain about the prevention of the soil erosion. So the first one is intensive cropping. So as we already know that if the fields remain covered with the crops without the layer, their topsoil will be not exposed to winds and rains. In such a conditions, so no soil erosion will take place. So we have to maintain, we have to grow, we have to go for the cultivation of crops in the intensive manner, in the scientific manner. So that should not allow to flow the top layer of the soil by the irrigation or by the any other methods. So next is sowing grasses and planting xerophytes. So here soil should not be left uncovered. Sowing grasses on the barren soil or planting of the xerophytes will bind the loose soil. So the roots of the grass and the xerophytes hold the soil in the proper place. So vegetative cover on the ground also helps the percolation of the water into the deeper layers of the soil. So the plants, the grass, that will hold the flow of water and it will help in the percolation of the water. So that will help in the increasing of the groundwater level. So we have to take the one more intensive method of farming, that is called the terrace farming. In terracing, the slopes are divided into a number of flat fields to slow down the flow of the water. In hilly regions, small crop fields are thus formed in the form of the steps or the terraces of cultivation of the crops. Such terrace farms reduce the flow of the rainwater down the slopes of the hills. So these kinds of methods we can see in the hill stations where we can see the cultivation of the coffee estates or the tea estates or the tea farming. So in such kind of the places, we have to grow the plants in the step manner. So that is considered as the terrace farming. Such terrace farms reduce the flow of water down the slopes of the hills. So the eroded soil from the upper regions of the hills get deposited in the lower terraces. So here there is no chance of the loosening of the more soil, and it is not going to flow into the water bodies. So that will be going to store in the proper one to another steps of the farming lands, so where we can shift again from one to another. So that will not allow to flow along with the moving water into the water bodies. So that is called the terrace farming. Next one is counterbounding. Small bunds, that is called embankments or the dikes, are raised on the edges of the field to prevent loss of topsoil through wind or the water. So the small bunds are raised on the edges of the fields. So in the edges of the fields, as we are creating the edges or the boundaries for our lands, like that only everyone have to prepare, everyone have to made the bunds to control the flow of the fertile soil from one place to another place. So it will stop, and it will also helps in the flow of the extra water, and it will helps in the movement of the water, and it helps to percolate the maximum water in the fields. And the next point is conservation tillage. So instead of conventional tillage, reduced or no tillage can be practiced. So it prevents the soil erosion also. So it prevents the soil erosion, that is the conservation tillage. So next is the windbreaks. Rows of trees and shrubs are planted at height angles to the prevailing wind flow to check erosion of soil by the wind. So we have to plant more and more plants in the boundaries of our lands, so that will help in the high movements of the winds, as well as it will stops the movement of the topmost small particles of the soil from by the wind. So next one, the proper drainage canals around the fields. So this method involves the removal of the excess rainwater through small drainage canals formed around the fields. So the things what we are discussing here, that all are going to stop the flow of the topmost layer of the fertile soil, so that is not going to move from one place to another place. So it will helps in the prevention of the soil erosion. Along with this, we can make the strong embankments along with the river belts, so that will also helps in the prevention of the soil erosion. So these are the main points that will helps us if we take the prevention in all these methods. So definitely we can save, we can conserve the soil from its erosion. So these are the main points. If you have any other points which are going to save or conserve the soil erosion, so list out them and write down in the fair book. So if you have any doubts regarding this one, you can send the message to my WhatsApp number. Thank you and have a nice day.